So they signed Ken Webster off the Dolphins practice squad yesterday. They promoted a cornerback from their own practice squad. They've got some cornerback woes as they go to face your New York Jets on Sunday, needing a win. Not an ideal spot for the Jets to be in. As for Michael Thomas, the Saints don't expect that he'll be able to play Monday night in the first game in Las Vegas. Whoever would have thought that the NFL would be in Las Vegas? It's just crazy to think about. And there's a chance that Thomas could miss multiple games. It's a high ankle sprain. They'll see how he handles it in upcoming days, but I think that they're resigned to the fact that he will not play on Monday night against the Las Vegas Raiders at this point in time. And there's another wide receiver injury in the NFC South. Chris Godwin, the Buccaneers' excellent wide receiver, is now in concussion protocol after that hit that he suffered Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. He'll have to pass through that protocol if he's able to play on Sunday against Carolina. No guarantee about that. We'll see his status going forward, and if he can't play, that would mean more targets for guys like Mike Evans and Scotty Miller for Tom Brady to throw to.
Okay, Schefter, thank you very much. And let's stay on the Buccaneers for the moment here, because we got some numbers from a piece that Jenna Lane did for us. On Sunday, against the Saints, Tom Brady was off target on 20.6% of his throws. That was 23rd in the league, and he wasn't much better when he faced a lot of pressure, completing just 20% of his passes when under duress. Yesterday, Bruce Arians was asked how he felt after looking at the film.
Very disappointed, and then you look at it and you take all the good things that happened and the things that were bad, could you be correctable, and they were very correctable. So, yeah, and we're on to Carolina now.
On to Carolina now. Did I just hear him say that? Dominique, what do we make of that?
Yeah, that was funny. It reminds me of Bill Belichick obviously saying on to Cincinnati. And it seems to me that Tom Brady is turning Bruce Arians more into Bill Belichick, and maybe Bruce Arians is turning Tom Brady more into Jameis Winston with his 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think they're doing a little flip-flop situation there.
I wonder if they're doing too much. I mean, Lewis, a couple of weeks ago on this show, I gave unsolicited advice to Bruce Arians, which was, don't forget that Tom Brady is 43. Don't forget that your running backs room is filled with names everybody knows. Don't forget that you have one of the best defenses in the NFL. I wonder if they're asking a little too much of Brady in this offense, regardless of his credentials.
Yeah, I don't know if they're asking too much, Greeny. I just think that expectations got out of control with this football team, and not enough attention was being paid to the fact that there was going to be some time needed for acclimation in real time, real game situations, and that's what you saw down there in New Orleans. Look, I know New Orleans was not playing with their normal crowd and that normal party atmosphere down there, and it wasn't real raucous. It wasn't one of those things that could unsettle a football team that's trying to get to know one another, but when this season is over, you will see that New Orleans is going to be one of the top 10 defenses in the NFL. They've got some real good players, man. They got people who can rush the passer. They got linebackers that can blitz and hit, and they've got a bunch of corners and some good safeties, guys who can cover, have good ball skills, who, if you aren't on top of your game and you're someone who's trying to feel their way in a new offense and you aren't in lockstep with the wide receivers, and you aren't throwing the ball in rhythm, and you are off target at all, we're going to make you pay for it. And they made Tom pay for it. So I think they need to go back to the drawing board. Again, not panic. Keep expectations within themselves at a reasonable level. And as Bruce said, look, move on to Carolina. I just think, in the offseason when they signed Gronk and Tom came there, and you think about Godwin and Mike Evans, and then, you just start going, your expectations get out of whack. And I think that's what happened with them. But make no mistake, they need to win this week. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about them a lot, and not in a good way.
No question about it. What do you think, D. Wood? The expectations versus the reality for the Buccaneers, are they not the same?
Well, I've always said from the beginning that they're going to need a grace period. When you don't have an off-season program, and the way that training camp was truncated, this was going to happen. Tom Brady's moved on from a system that he was with 20 years, and now he's with Bruce Arians and all the weapons, and people just expected Tom Brady to come out of the gate just fine. It doesn't work that way. I remember when Brett Favre got traded to the Jets, it took us about 2 or 3 games to get going. But once we got going, then that's when the expectations, started to meet there. So I think the same situation is going to happen with Tampa. Give them a couple games, and I think these guys will get it turned around.
So you believe, give it a month, and you believe this team will be what we talked about a lot this summer?
Yeah, I do think that Tampa Bay will be one of the teams that we're going to be talking about at the end of the year.
Okay, so there's that. Then there's something else that we need to get to this morning, and that is the New York Jets. They opened their season with a 10-point loss to the Bills in a game that was not nearly as close as the final score would seem to suggest. And Sam Darnold, the quarterback, posted a QBR of 19. The team rushed for a total of 52 yards. Yesterday, the Jets CEO and owner, Christopher Johnson, talked to reporters and remains fully behind his head coach, Adam Gase. And here's the quote. He said, "I think he can work with and develop quarterbacks. I do continue to think he's a brilliant offensive mind." He has my every confidence. Brilliant offensive mind. So the acting owner of the Jets thinks Adam Gase has a brilliant offensive mind. To that, I reply, what on earth could possibly have given you that impression? There is certainly no evidence that it's true. What there is, in fact, is overwhelming evidence that the exact opposite is true. Consider that in no season that Peyton Manning was not his quarterback did any of Gase's teams ever finish in the top half of the league in scoring. The last 3 seasons, in fact, they finished 28th, 26th, and 31st. That's in a 32-team league. In 17 games under Gase, the Jets have scored 33 touchdowns, and they've punted 93 times. They have scored on 24% of their possessions. That's the worst in the league. They've gone 3 and out on 44%. That's the worst in the league. Their average drive has gained 23 yards. All of those are the worst in the NFL. But wait, there's more. When the Jets acquired Le'Veon Bell, he had averaged more total yards per game than any player in history ever. Under the brilliant offensive mind, Bell is 27th in the league in yards per game. And there's one more, just so you know, this is not just my fandom talking. Under Gase in Miami, Ryan Tannehill was so bad, the Dolphins traded him for mid-round draft picks, and they chipped in $5 million just to get rid of him. Then in his first year in Tennessee, away from Gase, Tannehill had the 4th highest passer rating in history and led the Titans to the AFC title game. Those are all facts. They happened. And they beg one big question, Christopher Johnson. If the coach has a brilliant offensive mind, what in the world is he doing with it? That's what I think, and I'm trying to keep myself controlled because D. Wood is you were completely laughing as I was trying to talk. Your thoughts, Damian Woody?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well,
I'm trying not to go berserk here, but Greeny, I haven't seen one damn bit of progress from the Jets since Adam Gase has been with this organization.
Preach.
I mean, he's been talking about this offensive mind, this offensive brilliance. Where is it? You basically turned Le'Veon Bell into a scrub. Le'Veon Bell, a guy who was from yards from scrimmage, was the best in NFL history. Now he's relegated to scrub status. Do you know how awful you have to be to not even know how to even use a weapon like that? Then you're quarterback from USC, okay? A guy like, when we watched him his rookie year, you're like, damn, this dude got game. This dude, I can see this dude being one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And ever since Gase has been the head coach, he's gotten worse. Worse. Name one aspect of the Jets offense that you can see that can go out there and compete with anybody. Anybody. I watched the Jets from Bristol Sunday along with all the other games. They were clearly the worst team in the league. They were an embarrassment to the Buffalo Bills. It looked like varsity versus JV. It was awful, disgusting, nauseous. I'm done.
Okay. No, you said it well. Who else do I have here? I've lost track of what's going on. Lewis and Schefter. Beautiful. Schefter, can you bring any decorum to the proceeding?
Yeah, I can, absolutely. You're talking about a team that went 6-2 last year. 6-2 in the second half of the season. They lost one game. They got blown out. They fell behind early. It's one game. Let's calm down before we're basically hanging Adam Gase. This guy, again, I'm not telling you that he's proven he can be a Super Bowl winning head coach yet so far, but it takes time. Joe Douglas, the GM, traded away the star player. Joe Douglas had time to build one draft class together so far, one free agent class. Let's not rush to throw the guy off the bus just yet. I know that they were bad in week 1. No doubt about it. If they're bad in week 2 and 3 like that, yes, bring back all the comments, fire everybody. It's 1 week for a team that went 6-2 down the stretch last year. I mean, 1 week. Come on. Are we doing that to Doug Peterson in Philadelphia? Are we doing that to Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco? Are we doing it to Frank Reich in Indianapolis? Teams lose in opening weeks with no preseason.
Hold on, Schefter. All right,
yeah.
We're talking about coaches that's won a Super Bowl and gone to the Super Bowl. You don't get that type of grace period in my mind.
Okay, that's
you don't
fine.
get that.
That's fine. 1 week. 1 week.
Lewis, your thoughts?
Yeah, there's a lot going on here, isn't there? There's a lot of opinions about this place. We got a lot of emotions running them real high on Get Up this morning, man. I'm up. I'm here for it. I think what people want to know is this, okay? If ownership comes out, and I don't care what organization it is, and you put that kind of backing behind your guy, and you put your name on that guy, and you put your stamp of approval on that guy, and your trust in that guy, saying, I believe they're a brilliant offensive mind. I believe that personally what I'm seeing in my exposure to them maybe is not what you're seeing. Well, people who aren't seeing what you're seeing are going to say, okay, all right, well, then we better start seeing it here very soon. And you know what? I'll give Adam this. Okay, it is 1 week, meaning Adam Schefter. It's 1 week. It's the first week. Let's see what happens in weeks 2 and 3. You're right. But I will say this. Okay, we just got done broadcasting Tennessee at Denver. One of the things that Mike Vrabel continuously talked about with his football team this past offseason, and even told us before we did that game, was it doesn't matter what we did last year. This is a what have you done for me lately league. What are you doing for me now league? And people like to talk about momentum from 1 year to the next year and how it should carry over and especially in the early part of a season, people want to rely on how teams finished up. It really doesn't matter. And they better start showing some progress in New York. They better start showing some progress in terms of the development of Sam Darnold, the development of the offense overall, and their ability to stay close in football games and actually win them. Because if they don't, it doesn't matter what Christopher Johnson says. It doesn't matter what Peyton Manning said about Adam Gase. It doesn't matter about anything. They will replace him, and someone else will be in there. Because the fact of the matter is they're not relevant, and they're not getting the job done, and they have to change that around quickly.
Well said. Okay, we will leave it there. We're all going to calm down. Everything is going to be fine. We're going to work our way forward.
I'm going to try to calm down.
Okay, we will see. A little bit later, maybe. This is a large man with a mallet. Who knows what might happen as we continue.